a number of headwinds, including soaring bond yields and the resumption of student loan payments. Well, now it's time for today's America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
You guys, what are two things you lose the most? It's your keys and it's your phone. And it's so frustrating. I know this because I spend hours every day looking for these items. So listen up. You don't want to miss this buy one, get one exclusive deal on the KeySmart Pro. Now, the KeySmart Pro organizes up to 14 keys in one little device. Literally every guy on the set has one in his pocket right now. And as we are setting up this display, people were actually trying to take them. So my advice is buy this now for everyone you love because they're not gonna last. It takes all those keys in the drawer, the bottom of your purse, and puts them right into one little thing, and it connects to a free app. So if you lose your keys, you press the button on the app. You lose your phone, you press the button on the keychain. Even if your phone is on silent, you can find it. It's a win-win. They find each other, guys. You know how many hours this saves us? For me, like probably 6 hours a day. I bet you have someone in your life that needs one of these. My family literally impersonates me by putting on a pair of sunglasses and saying, "Where's my phone? Where's my keys?" And now with this buy one, get one free deal, it's the perfect time to get one for you, someone you love, in all of these great colors. Remember, this is a buy one, get one free. Do not wait. Go to asadeals.com.
We want to take you back to that breaking news we are following right now, taking you live to the situation where police now confirming a shooting. This is Pressman at North Bentlow Street is where that shooting happened. You're taking a look at the scene at Pressman and Smallwood. This is where they're setting up a media staging area. The shooting happening just in front of Carver Vocational Technical Institute. You can see the police tape there. We saw a police dog, a canine, just out a little while ago. A staging area again being set up as we speak. Our crews are there. We're going to give you an update as soon as we hear what happened there. Again, getting word shooting just outside of Carver Vocational this morning.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Good Day Baltimore.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's 9 o'clock on this Friday, October 27th. I'm Tom Rogers.
I'm Megan Gillen. Let's bring in meteorologist Wyatt Everhard with our forecast.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I mean, the warm weather shows no signs of stopping yet, anyway. We see a lot of sunshine already over Camden Yards after a cloudy start early before sunrise. More sun now. That's allowing temps to get up already into the mid-60s. Now, look at the satellite. There is more mid-level cloud cover and moisture to our west, so I think we're a little bit back and forth with the sun and clouds today. That means that basically we'll probably maybe stay a little below the old record of 82, but not by much. Up to 80 or so as we work through this afternoon, way above average, which is only 65. And by the way, we're probably in the mid-80s for your Saturday. But that is it. We really dropped the numbers into early next week. Those details and how much colder it gets and exactly when that arrives, it's coming up.
All right, Wyatt, thank you. Fox 45 News' years-long investigation into the Safe Streets program comes to a head with an FBI raid on a Safe Streets location.
Federal agents executed search warrants on the Safe Streets Bel Air Edison site,
as well as 2 employee homes. That happened yesterday morning. This morning, there are growing calls for answers.
All I know is about the raid, and so I need questions answered.
Brennan Scott, the comptroller Bill Henry, they ran on transparency, and now they're running away from it in the key programs, the public safety programs right here in Baltimore. They need to get serious.
Mackenzie Frost has been leading the Fox 45 News investigation into the Safe Streets program.
That's right, and she's got a look at what we know about that FBI raid.
FBI agents raiding the Safe Streets location in Bel Air Edison, as well as 2 employees' homes. Sources close to that investigation tell us that this probe is possibly connected to gang affiliation, and this wouldn't be the first time that has been an issue for Safe Streets. Thursday morning in Bel Air Edison, Safe Streets location getting locked up as a woman captured by Fox 45 News' cameras leaving the Safe Streets site.
Was the FBI here this morning?
Have a good day.
locking the door just hours after the FBI on-site searching the location. Sources close to the investigation tell Fox 45 News the probe related to possible Black Guerrilla family gang affiliation. The Bel Air Edison Safe Streets site managed by LifeBridge Health. According to LifeBridge, 2 other employees had federal agents show up at their homes. In a statement, LifeBridge telling Fox 45 News, "We are treating this incident seriously and complying with requests from authorities, but it's unclear what requests have been made." The Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, or MONSE, issuing a brief statement, pledging accountability for anyone found guilty. While MONSE says the FBI raid does not and should not diminish the work that Safe Streets Baltimore staff do on a daily basis, it raises questions about the operations. We sent questions to Mayor Scott and MONSE asking how many current Safe Streets employees are breaking the law. Are any other Safe Streets sites under federal investigation? Is this latest black eye for the program enough for you to call for a pause in funding for and operations of Safe Streets? Will you now release the names of all Safe Streets employees to the public? MONSE referring us back to their first statement, and Mayor Scott not answering the questions directly, instead saying everyone should be held accountable and he will work with federal partners throughout this investigation. While speculation swirls about what's next, it's clear the FBI digging into Safe Streets and City Hall seemingly standing by its flagship gun violence prevention program. We're still working to find out more information about this latest federal investigation, but the FBI tells me no other Safe Streets locations were raided. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Fox 45 News pressing city council members about the raid.
It's not surprising at all. I mean, myself and a couple of my colleagues have been very vocal on just standard accountability and transparency, and we've gotten none of that.
Obviously, serious allegations. It would be serious allegations if anybody, had that happen to them. So, I look forward to finding out more about what happened and what the investigation holds, and see what comes out of it.
Fox 45 News sent questions about the raid to every city council member, asking for their reaction to it and if they support calls for an audit on the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, or MONSE, which oversees Safe Streets. Mark Conway responded in a statement that reads, "This is concerning to see, and I am seeking additional information. We should always expect public safety agencies and those that receive city funds to carry out important public safety initiatives to follow the law."
This is not the first time that Fox 45 News has found Safe Streets workers with criminal ties. Vernon Harper pleaded guilty to federal drug charges that included dealing drugs in the same Safe Streets zone where he worked. Then there was Ronald Alexander, who was sentenced to more than 11 years in prison for distributing drugs in Baltimore. Charging documents include a picture of him that you see right here in a Safe Streets shirt holding what appears to be a bag of drugs. Prosecutors say he used his position in the Safe Streets program to try and stop investigators from tracking him. The city will not reveal the names of Safe Streets workers, saying that they are not city employees and that their identities need to be protected. However, some critics say that cases like these are why the public should know who the workers are and how the program is spending money.
Public information, such as what we're talking about, is public under Maryland law. And when you redact these things, it is arguably a violation of the law on its face in the state of Maryland. So they need to have radical transparency, forensic audits. We need to be able to follow the money.
Well, we want to know what you think in our question of the day. Should Safe Streets be immediately shut down? Of those who voted, you can see 97% of those say yes. You can weigh in right now by going to foxbaltimore.com/vote.
Fox 45 News has been investigating the Safe Streets program for years, demanding answers about how the program spends your taxpayer dollars and how it keeps track of the former criminals it employs.
We will continue our relentless demand for answers. Our commitment to you is to follow your tax dollars and hold city leaders accountable for the Safe Streets program and any other issue facing Baltimore City.
You can find all of our previous reporting and follow along as our investigation continues right on our website. That's foxbaltimore.com. Happening this morning, Baltimore City Fire Department is holding a funeral for EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts III.
Pitts was one of 2 firefighters killed as a result of last week's row home fire in Northwest Baltimore. We have Shannon Lilly joining us live from the Cathedral of Mary Our Queen, where he is being remembered. Shannon.
Yeah, right now, guys, you are taking a live look at the sea of blue underway here. First responders lining up. They are awaiting the casket and the family's arrival. We are told that motorcade is en route here to the cathedral, roughly on time for 9:25 for the family arrival. You can hear the bagpipers playing just behind these first responders. You can see the honor guard there lining the steps of the cathedral. A lot going on. And behind us as well, dozens of fire engines lining the streets. A somber morning, but also a time to reflect on the hero that he was. He is being remembered as an old soul with a kind and generous spirit. The funeral for EMT firefighter Roddy Pitts III is set to start at 10 this morning, so just about an hour from now. Now, Pitts died in the line of duty, you'll remember, after a 2-alarm fire ripped through row homes in a northwest Baltimore neighborhood. That was last Thursday. The 31-year-old father had been with the department for 1 year and had just been pinned by Chief Wallace in August. So again, we are hearing about him following his death, that he was a father, that he is thought of as an old soul with a kind and generous spirit. And there are just hundreds of people out here honoring him and remembering him. We're going to continue to stay out here and bring you live coverage. Again, the funeral starting at 10, but for now, we'll send it back into you guys.
Well, thank you, Shannon. And here's a look at the road closures. That's right where Shannon is standing on North Charles and Northern Parkway. There is road closures to traffic modifications in place. North Charles Street has been closed since just a little after 7 from West Cold Spring to Northern Parkway. It's expected to open again by noon.
West Northern Parkway will be closed from Charles Streets to 83 following the funeral, so expect closures and delays between 11:30 and 1:30.
I'm going to go back up to that breaking news that we've been telling you about happening in front of Carver Vocational School. In fact, President Nick Mosby of the Baltimore City Council tweeting this out or posting this on X just a second ago, just received disturbing news. 2 people were shot right outside the entrance at Carver Vocational High School during school arrival. First bell, 7:45. My heart and prayers are with the victims, their families, and all impacted students and staff. This happening there right at Bentlew and Pressman Street. So it's happening right in front of Carver Vocational School here. There is a media staging area that is going to be coming up in a little bit, and some other news sources are posting about this. The Baltimore Police also had confirmed this. If you're just joining us, we've been also showing you their post to X here too, that media staging area. So we have a crew that is in the way or is there, and they are getting as much information as possible. We'll be checking in with them in just a little bit. In fact, taking a look at the right side of your screen, that's a live look from about a half a block away from where the police have roped it off. There's another piece of ribbon right in front of our camera right here, so you can't see it. It's below the camera, but this is a live shot. We've seen K9 units and a couple other police officers. There's a lot of different units there, and it may be around the corner from this area, either to the right, we believe, but we'll find all the information, and they are going to be able to get us a little information about that. Now, we're just getting this. Baltimore City Public Schools also just posting this on X. We're aware of an incident at Carver this morning. Working with Baltimore Police Department, share further details we can. Parents, guardians, families advised not to go to the school at this time. Please wait for further instructions. The family and students injured have been notified. All students there inside the campus are secure. But did you see that second sentence? The families of the students injured have been notified. So now we're getting a little bit more details there, that bottom line right there. So there is 2 students that we had heard, or 2 subjects. Now we're hearing students probably injured. And that K9 unit may be, and we're speculating here, maybe because they're still searching for the suspects. So that's why they're saying don't go to that area, because they may have a manhunt underway right now.
Certainly reminiscent of September of last year, Tom, as well. Remember when a 15-year-old was shot just outside of Carver Vocational as well. Again, live looks from the scene there. We're going to keep you posted as we continue to learn more. 9:12 now on Fox 45. Good day, Baltimore.
Taking a live look back out at the Carver Vocational Technical School right around the corner where there appears to be a shooting. Baltimore City Police confirming that just a little while ago. And then we saw a post on X from the City Council President Nick Mosby saying that there was 2 students that happened right at the beginning of school, which opening bell is 7:45.
Yeah.
Also, you see that post on X there from earlier. And then we also heard from Baltimore City Public Schools.
Yeah, and they were talking about parents and you know, to try and avoid going to the school right now. Something interesting from Mosby, as you look at that tweet there, right outside the entrance is where they're saying that the shooting happened there. And during arrival, as Tom mentioned there as well. So they're saying that the students' families that have been impacted by this have been alerted, according to schools. And we are waiting for a media news conference to begin hopefully here soon. They've got that set up. You can see the police tape still in that area. We also don't know if they have any suspects, if they have the shooter in custody, if this is an active investigation. This all just happening here in the last hour or so breaking.
And just minutes ago, the Baltimore City Public Schools, when they posted that to X, they wrote in there the students that have been injured, their families have been notified. And that's why they're asking any other family members not to go to that area, because they probably are still searching for the suspects, possibly. So we'll find that out here in just a little bit. That's one breaking news story that we're working on. As you see, looks like they're maybe coming closer to go, hopefully, to a podium here in just a little bit, and we'll be able to get a little information. We're going to check in here in just a little bit, because also the same time that's going on, we have right now, we've been following another story this morning.
That's right. This is the funeral procession for EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts III. It is now beginning. This is a live look from the Duda Ruck Funeral Home there in Dundalk.
Yeah, Pitts ended up losing his life while fighting a fire in Northwest Baltimore Thursday afternoon. We've been following this procession all morning long. He'd been with the department for just a year and was just officially pinned by Chief Wallace in August of this year. We'll continue going back and forth into these different stories for you.
And a moving procession there, as you see so many firefighters from all over the state of Maryland now preparing to say their final goodbyes. As we dip back out of that, we're hearing that there is a news conference getting underway for that Carver vocational shooting. As we switch back to that shooting, I think we want to go back to that live shot and see if that's getting underway.
Hey, somehow you can hook 45's mic up. That'd be great.
You can see right here, they're still getting everything set up here. We're going to hear some information about the students' involvement with a shooting at vocational school here at Carver Vocational just a little while ago. So we're going to stay actually with this just for a little bit to find out some details here, and we'll find out the information, and then we'll be going back over to also finding out about the firefighters' procession.
This is Acting Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner Kevin Jones, Baltimore City Police. I'm here with the PIO from School Police, Mr. John Davis, as well as Major Matt Carell of the Western District. At 07:50 hours this morning, there was a call for service in reference to a shooting at Carver High School, 2201 West Pressman Street. At 07:52 hours, our first officer was on the scene. At 0:54 hours, an officer had already applied a chest press as well as a tourniquet to one of the victims. As of right now of this reporting, there are 2 juvenile victims, 16 years old, that attended Carver High School. There was a 3rd walk-in victim, also a juvenile at 17 years of age. All 3 victims are in non-life-threatening condition at University Hospital. This is an active crime scene. It's still early in the investigation as of right now. Crime Lab is on the scene. As you well know, instantly school police and their protocols put the school on lockdown, which they are currently still in at the moment. In reference to the individual suspect, we do know the individual is a unidentified African-American male who did flee eastbound on Pressman Street. We are actively working right now doing concentric searches in reference to identifying this individual with the use of not only CCTV cameras but school cameras in the area.
Do we know how it all happened?
Still active investigation. We do know that there was a possible fray, and then there was the discharge of the weapon.
We had heard from a parent that the kids had known for days something was going to happen. Have you heard anything about that?
Early in the investigation, I cannot confirm or deny.
Is the alleged shooter a student here?
It is still early in the investigation. We are unaware.
Next, anyone else?
What kind of weapon was used?
Still early in the investigation. We do know we have multiple casings on the ground.
So multiple weapons?
We have multiple casings on the ground.
Can we hear from school officials as to why kids are still being allowed into school and why this whole area isn't blocked off to be made safe for students?
Well, students that came in any time around there, went into their normal entrances and went on lockdown immediately, right? And if kids made their way in, we wanted to make sure they were safe, and so we got them into a safe place and have kept them there. And we should be very clear. The families of the victims have already been communicated with. So if there are families of Carver students, right, they should know that their child is here and fine and safe and is not one of the victims, because we've already communicated with those families.
I will say that in reference to my specific response here, I came from North Avenue and I did have to go through several layers of block streets that school police had cordoned off.
Walk us through, the school was about to start. Walk us through buses arriving. How did this all unfold right over here? Just from the early indication of this investigation, how did this begin?
As I said before, there was some kind of a fray. I don't know about buses. It's still early in the investigation. It would be irresponsible for me to speak of that right now.
Anyone who hasn't asked a question yet?
When you say chest press and tourniquets, was it just one victim, multiple victims? How many?
So the one victim had a shot to his left chest as well as his hip. The second victim that was on the scene in the courtyard had a graze wound to his hip. I am unsure of where the gunshot wound was for the third walk-in victim. The victim that did have the gunshot wound to his chest had a chest seal put on as well as a tourniquet.
Anyone else who hasn't asked a question? Okay, thank you very much.
I have one more question.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Okay.
You can send our office.
Okay.
All right, you were just listening live. This is the latest information just coming in as we got word about a little over an hour ago of a shooting outside Carver Vocational this morning. You heard the officer there telling us that it started at 7:50 this morning. 2 minutes later, officers on scene, multiple casings there. Sounds like maybe an argument, but they're not really shedding light on it. Right,
yeah.
A fray that might have led to this.
And it was interesting, though, because he said that, and then the reporters, you heard them asking different things about, he said, okay, we got the call at 7:50. At 7:52, an officer arrived. Was that officer a school resource officer at Carver? Is there one at that school? We don't know. It seems like two 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old, all non-life-threatening injuries. That's the good news right there. And obviously, they're still looking. Manhunt or suspect is now still out there in that area. That's why we're telling people stay away.
And went on foot, fleeing down Pressman.
Yeah.
Unclear if that shooter is a student at Carver or, age. Nothing being really discovered on that end, other than we did see the canines out there. We know that it's an active investigation, but 3 students injured here this morning.
Yeah, and we were able to hear a little bit. Taylor's there on the scene. She was asking a couple questions, too, and she was asking a little bit about, okay, well, what was the scene in front of it? And he said he would not speculate on there, but that was great questions because it's 7:45 opening bell, and the 911 call comes within minutes of that. So you think there were a lot of people right there in front of Carver, a lot of witnesses, and that they're looking at CCTV, so some security cameras, maybe even some ring cameras in that neighborhood, possibly piece it together and get a description of it. They were able to contact the family of the students right away. So that's why when the school's public information officer was asked, they said, we've already contacted the families. So that's why they were saying school is not really, it's still open. Students are still inside the school, still learning. The whole place hasn't been shut down because that suspect, I guess, ran away from the location. So they're thinking the school grounds are safe.
Yeah, fled down Pressman. Again, as we look at the shot right here, that area on Pressman right there is shut down. This happens to be on Smallwood. If you know this area, that's where this media staging area is happening. They've got the police tape all around the area, though. So while the students are inside the school, family members who are trying to get to them are being cut off. Obviously, the tweet coming down from Baltimore City Public Schools, letting parents know that they're aware of it. They are asking parents to wait for further instruction, saying the families of the students injured have been notified. All other students are inside. The campus is secure, but, many wondering when they can get in touch with their other students, their children who might have witnessed that and are wondering, What's going on? What might be next in their life as they learn about their friends and what happened outside today?
Carver Vocational School, obviously we've heard that report from that area. There's been multiple times where there's been guns found in the school, and there was a student actually that police were pursuing that they found not too long ago, just a few months ago. You may remember that, where they actually found the student running away from police and getting into the school. He was found with a gun on his person after going into that school, and that was created a lot of questions about what about metal detectors, how to get back in. So that school, I know, has just gone through a security check, which was good on the grounds, but this happened outside of the school, not in the school.
Very familiar to what happened September of 2022, just last year when a 15-year-old was shot right outside of Carver. So a very similar scene, just over a year apart. This time we've got 3 students, again, shot here this morning. Non-life-threatening injuries is what we're hearing there, but a gunman on the loose now.
Now, this is a developing story, and we'll be checking back in with Taylor. In fact, you can see her there. We're going to be checking back in to find out. Are we able to talk to Taylor right now, or is she ready to? Taylor, are you able to hear us? All right. All right.
I'm right now out of Carver Vocational School, and this investigation is really just ramping up. Are you able to hear me? Just give me a chance.
Yes, we can hear you. We got you.
Okay, good to know. So I got a chance to talk to some students. They say at the start of their school day, that's when the shooting took place. We know that at least 3 people were hit by bullets. 1 was grazed, but one person, possibly a student here, was hit in the chest and in the hip. As we're coming out here today and trying to learn more information, what's not clear is who the shooter is and where the shooter is. Several streets are blocked off here. We're on Pressman and North Smallwood. And as we scan the scene, just look over here, you can see the police presence has started to die down a bit, but the shooter still out there. Now, as folks have been coming to the school, parents concerned, picking up their children, we're also learning that the students are still attending class. They've been able to go.
Oh, sounds like we might be having trouble with Taylor's mark. I can see her still
here.
out there, hopefully. Oh, there you go, Taylor. Go ahead. We can still see you.
We do know that the shooter is still out there. They're looking and canvassing the area as we speak for that shooter. Not clear if they are a student. We asked that. And it's not clear why, in fact, the school is not shut down yet for the day, but we're going to get more information as we stay out here on the scene. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I think that the real touch point right now is for parents and students to make sure they feel safe and secure as those 3 people who've now been taken to the hospital are now recovering from gunshot wounds. I mean, just at the start of the school day here, you guys. So definitely a tense situation. We're monitoring it, and we'll bring you guys the latest updates.
Taylor, you said you spoke with some of the students. What are they feeling? What are they thinking? Did they look upset?
Some students seemed upset. Others seemed like it was another day, and that was really the disheartening part. You know, I'm taking this in as the students here are taking this in, and the sentiment that you're getting is that, dang, this happened again, and that's really not a good feeling. But as I said, we're going to continue to canvass the area and get the latest information for you guys. Megan, Tom.
All right, thank you, Taylor. We appreciate it.
Again, a developing story here as we learn of that shooting just outside Carver Vocational. Taylor's on the scene. We're in touch with police as well. We'll keep you posted as soon as we learn more.
9:28 is the time. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News. We're all local all morning.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Good Day Baltimore.
Welcome back to Fox 45 Good Day Baltimore. It's Friday, October 27th. I'm Megan Gilland.
And I'm Tom Rogers, and we have some breaking news that we've been following. Also, a funeral procession.
That's right. The city remembering the life and the legacy of EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts III.
Pitts was killed while battling a two-alarm row home fire just last week in Northwest Baltimore. Second firefighter, Lieutenant Dylan Ronaldo, also died from his injuries this week after being critically hurt in that same fire.
We have Shannon Lilly joining us live this morning from the Cathedral of Mary Our Queen, where the funeral for Pitts is being held and underway as we speak. Shannon.
Yes, and we are waiting for the family to arrive here this morning. Megan, you can see the sea of blue here this morning, the procession just waiting for the family to arrive. We're told that they are en route and they should be getting here any minute now. So in behind them, you can see the honor guard there lining the steps of the cathedral. The bagpipers are playing. It is an emotional and solemn morning here. The funeral is set to start at 10 this morning. We also want to get you to a look at the schedule for today. As I said, the funeral is set to start at 10 this morning here at the Cathedral of Mary Our Queen at 5200 North Charles Street. And we know that following the service, there will be a procession from the cathedral here to Delaney Valley Memorial Gardens in Timonium, where firefighter Pitts will be laid to rest. Again, he is being remembered as an old soul, a kind person. His sacrifice and his service will never be forgotten. You can see the hundreds of people that have gathered out here, all to remember and to honor him. And again, we are waiting for his arrival as this procession is underway, and he is set to arrive at any time now, along with his family. People remembering Pitts as a father, as a person who was kind, and it just reflects with what you're seeing out here this morning, the outpouring of support and love. So again, we're going to continue to stay out here and watch as this procession gets underway and as this funeral starts here in just about 30 minutes. But for now, we're going to send it back into you.
All right, thank you, Shannon. And we'll be checking back in with Shannon, obviously, as that procession moves forward here in this 9:30 hour. Well, road closures, because right where she was standing, that is right on North Charles Street, and there's some traffic modifications in place for his funeral and that procession right here. So it's closed from now. Obviously, it closed at about 7 o'clock this morning until noon. Also, you need to look at West Cold Spring Lane and Northern Parkway. Big thoroughfares there. They're also expected to be opening back again 12 to 1:30 because that procession, once they leave Our Lady Cathedral.
West Northern Parkway is going to be closed from Charles Streets to 83 following the funeral. So you can expect some closures and delays between 11:30 and 1:30 through that area.
Now back to the breaking news this morning as Baltimore's police department confirmed 3 juveniles who have been shot this morning at Carver Vocational High School. 2 of the victims are students, and they are 16-year-old males. One is a 17-year-old who is not a student at Carver, but then walked into an area high school later on. All 3 have non-life-threatening injuries. Some good news there, but they're still searching for the unidentified suspect who they say fled eastbound on Pressman. We don't know if that suspect was a student at the school.
Baltimore City Public Schools are telling us that parents and guardians, they are advised not to go to the school at this time and that they have notified the families of injured students. We have Taylor Stewart. She is live on the scene there. She was there for the media briefing just a minute ago. Taylor, what are you seeing now?
Well, right now, this area is taped off. This is where the shooting occurred this morning, right before that opening bell at 7:45 this morning. As you can see, police tape lining this area. We're on North Smallwood and Pressman Street. And right now, the energy is one of questioning. Folks really just want to know what happened, how this unfolded. We got a chance to speak with the officer involved in this, and he said there were EMTs out here doing chest compressions for 2 of the victims. A third victim walked walked into the hospital this morning, and it's not entirely clear where the shooter is. That's the search that's underway this morning. That's why you're seeing such a large police presence out here. But I do want to swing around here and show you guys the other area here as students are being let into the school building, and we've seen a few pick their students up for the day. This all happening before the day even got started here. We know that the students who did sustain shots were taken to the hospital. One person hit in the chest and in the hip. So definitely a serious situation we're dealing with. We had a chance to speak with some students this morning, and we'll tell you more about that as this investigation continues throughout the morning here. Fox 45 Morning News, Taylor Stewart.
Thank you, Taylor. Fox 45 News will continue to bring you updates on air and online. Just head to our website at foxbaltimore.com.
A lot of reaction coming in response to this tragedy, to this shooting that unfolded. Shooting, again, 3 juveniles, 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old. Nick Mosby writing in, I just received disturbing news that 2 people were shot right outside the entrance at Carver Vocational High School during school arrival. My heart and prayers are with the victims, their families, and all impacted students and staff. Again, City Council President Nick Mosby writing that in. We have since learned it was 3 that were shot. Lisa writing, another day of the horrors, and a sad truth there. Someone else writing, wow, this is exhausting every day. One more for you. Thoughts and prayers, simply put. This is not the first time that we have seen violence near the school, as you see many mentioning of that. Last month, a 14-year-old girl was shot not too far from that very same school. In March, a 15-year-old was arrested after running into the school with a loaded gun. Police say the young suspect had carjacked an Uber driver shortly before. That incident prompting concerns about tracking who comes into the building while school is in session.
Last year, a 15-year-old student at Carver was also grazed in the head by a bullet right near that same campus. Thankfully, he survived. 9:37 is the time, and you're taking a live look right now from the scene.
A weapon for protection. So this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with, where children trying to protect themselves because they fearful that, people want to take stuff from them.
Look, sir, you know this better than I do. I'm trying to convey this information to our viewers, and I don't think you know the history better than I do. When we come back on air, can you mention just kind of the history around this and why students maybe feel they need to bring some sort of protection just to keep themselves safe?
Yeah.
Okay. We're up in like 2 minutes. Is this not working?
It is, but
sorry, I just went for it.
Better with the stick.
I'm a tried and true journalist.
Here, you got to turn off the.
Don't worry. Do you live in this area, or are you?
Yeah, I'm in the area.
Okay.
I'm a good friend of Jeff and Mackenzie.
Okay,
Can
yeah.
you move on that sidewalk?
So I've seen some parents come by. How are you? I've seen some parents come by and grab their students, but there's still some students inside. Is the school day? The school I didn't hear that. Is the school day still going?
The school is still going. It's supposed to be on lockdown. Well, a lot of schools are celebrating today because Poly and City is playing football game this weekend, so a lot of children excited about the game.
Yeah. So this comes on a really.
Yeah. So the children got the opportunity to wear the black and orange or wear the blue and orange today.
What's your first and last name, sir?
Kenny.
Back to our breaking news. If you're just joining us there this morning, Baltimore Police Department confirming 3 juveniles were shot right at Carver Vocational High School, right when school was starting this morning, outside of the building. 2 of those victims we know are students, one a 17-year-old who is not a student at Carver. All 3 have non-life-threatening injuries. They're still searching for the unidentified suspect at this time who fled eastbound on Pressman Street. We don't know if that suspect was a student at the school.
Baltimore City Public Schools are saying that parents and guardians are advised not to go to the school at this time and that they have notified the families of the injured students. We have Taylor Stewart. She is out live at the scene there just outside the school talking to folks who are out there. Taylor, what are you seeing? What are you hearing?
Look, it's a really tense situation, you guys, and I've been talking to folks just trying to get the history of what has happened here at Carter Vocational High School. With us this morning is Kenny Ebron, and good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, but you pulled me over and you said, do you know the history of what we've seen here in this area? You're a longtime resident.
Absolutely.
Get us up to speed with some of the issues you've seen with terms of youth and guns.
When we look at the issue where we had a body hanging from the basketball court, maybe like 3 years ago, and the children had to walk to school and seen something like that, going on at the school. If we look at on the first beginning of the school year when a young person was chased by the police officer who ran into the Carver High School and threw on a hoodie to try to hide himself and was caught and was taken out of here. So these children have seen a lot that's happening in this community, and going to and from. Children are afraid. Children, they don't want to carry guns. They don't want to carry knives. They're trying to protect themselves from people who wants to break the law, the people who wants to commit these crimes. And our innocent children feel, though, that they need to protect themselves.
But this is an example of when the need to protect yourself spills over into gun violence, where someone, right now everyone's alive, but someone could have lost their life today. And that's so as you look at this situation and the previous situations, what does your concern become when you look at the number of protection or the officers around here, or the ability to keep kids protected as they go to school?
Yeah, I do believe that there should be a school police officer in every high school there is in the city of Baltimore. When we're dealing with a crisis of children who committing crimes, children who feel though they have to carry guns, we got to protect the children. If you want to put metal detectors inside of the schools, also make sure that there's a police at every Baltimore City public school for high school students. Today, kids are celebrating Poly and City's football game today. So they dressed up in their orange and black and they blue and orange, and they geared up and ready, and then something like this happened. And so this is where we're dealing with mental illness, mental health issues right here from what these children have seen. Children scatter and running, running and scared and afraid.
And playing out in real time today, we did see several students who were either coming to school or leaving the school building. If I walk you down here, thank you so much, Mr. Brown. If I walk you down here, just over in this corner, we've seen several students go inside. We believe it's the gymnasium. Parents have come by, and they're all just trying to figure out what happened here today. As Mr. Ebron just said, this is a day of celebration. A lot of big games happening today. Students came out really ready to get the weekend started, but before the bell even rang, here on North Smallwood, that shooting occurred. So we're still trying to gather the latest information. We do know 3 people were hit. One person, at least, we know had severe injuries in the chest and in the hip, sustained bullet wounds. And we know EMTs had to do chest compressions out here. This is a very tense situation. It's unfolding as we speak. And as we get more of the history, you kind of get an idea of where students' minds might be this morning. We'll continue to follow these updates and bring you the very latest as they come about.
Taylor, I have a quick question for you. We saw the Baltimore school saying parents don't come, the kids are inside the building. Has there been any update to that? Is anyone coming or going from the school now?
Look, parents are doing what they please, Megan. I'll be real with you. If you were a mom and heard there was a shooting at your child's school, what would you do? We've seen several parents come pick up their students despite that notice. We do know the school's on lockdown as they continue to look for the shooter. They have not found the shooter. They do know he ran away on foot on Pressman Street. So that's something we're also following, Megan.
Taylor, you were just speaking with that gentleman there. That was great, giving us the information about what the feel is like in that neighborhood. Is they were excited about a football game tonight, a huge football game in the city. Then this happens, yet they brought him back into the building, and they're supposed to learn something today. That's got to be very difficult, the trauma that's involved there with the teaching and the students trying to sit there and just try and, okay, let's go back to our regular day and get ready for, math. So that was a very great point that you brought up. But another question that I think he hinted on is we need to have police officers in the schools at all time. That's one question. Was there a city police officer, a resource officer at Carver when that shooting unfolded? Because he just pointed out all the violence that's been associated at that location.
And Tom, that is a great question. I appreciate you for actually sending me that question. I tried to get that in with the Baltimore Schools resource officer, but couldn't get that question answered. But that is a question we are asking as we learn more about what unfolded here this morning. Was there an officer? We don't know that information yet, but that's something we definitely want to get an answer to.
And it's interesting because we know the response was 2 minutes.
Right.
So that's pretty quick. We'll get some answers here soon. Taylor, we appreciate your interview, your time. We're going to be checking back in here again. I know many parents, if they're not there, glued to the TVs.
Yeah, in fact, we just want to play one little thing before. Taylor, when you first got there, I know that we had that with the public information officer. And let's listen in real quick what they had to say.
We had heard from a parent that the kids had known for days something was going to happen. Have you heard anything about that?
Early in the investigation, I cannot confirm or deny.
Right? They should know that their child is here and fine and safe and is not one of the victims because we've already communicated with those families.
I will say that.
That was the information earlier this morning. Fox 45 News will continue bringing you updates on air and online in this breaking news that happened at Carver Vocational High School. Just head over to our website at foxbaltimore.com.
Also happening this morning, the city is remembering the life and the legacy of EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts III.
A major procession happening here right in front of the church at Lady of Grace here. And Shannon Lilly's been standing by. She's been watching this from the Cathedral of Mary, our Queen, right now. Shannon, I know that you've been waiting on the procession for the family to arrive, and it's been a somber moment here. Has any activity happened since?
Well, we're learning, Tom, that caisson is on Cold Spring Lane. So that is where they're waiting over there on Cold Spring Lane. They're about a mile away from where we are here, waiting for the family to get in place. So really, any minute now, we should start seeing them come down this way. You can see everyone is ready. Everyone is in place. The sea of blue lining outside in front of the cathedral, the honor guard on the steps of the cathedral there. This all in honor of EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts III. The funeral is set to start in just 13 minutes from now. So really, things should be getting underway. We're not seeing that procession, that motorcade arriving just yet, but again, it's just about a mile away, we're told. So any minute now. We're also told that he will be arriving on engine 35, and that is his engine that he was on. So we will see that as it unfolds, probably in just a few minutes here. We're standing by and watching, guys. We'll send it back to you.
Yeah, Shannon, earlier we were able to see his body and the casket be placed on the back of that engine, and that's coming from Dundalk. So it is a ways away from where you are. The camera has been showing us a little bit glimpses, and it looks like hundreds of people. Can you explain how many people are actually there and how many vehicles may be blocking the roads, reason why there's so much traffic issues because they had to block off so much?
I mean, it is just hundreds, Tom. I mean, if we can try to pan. Oh, and it looks like something's happening here. They're telling us to stand by. So I believe the motorcade is soon arriving. Let's listen in and see what's going on. All right, here it comes. We're seeing a white van pull up. we believe the family is inside here. So this is the family arriving. This is all ahead of the funeral for EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts III. So right now we are watching as the family, and after that the casket will be arriving here ahead of the funeral for EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts III. We're behind a large crowd of people, so you can see it's kind of difficult to see. But just to give you some perspective, I mean, this line of first responders, they are wrapping all the way around this cathedral here, and then just behind them, dozens and dozens of fire engines with an American flag displayed above them. It's quite a display out here. All of these people out here gathering to honor EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts III. We're told the family is now arriving. We did see white vans that were told they would be inside. It's kind of hard to see. But again, all of this is happening ahead of the funeral, which is set to start at 10 this morning. You can see the honor guard here. They're lining the steps of the cathedral.
Shannon, the support there, it's unbelievable from the first responders. Are you seeing on their vests where they're coming from? I know obviously probably all across the state of Maryland, but often you see the men and women in blue show up from statewide.
Exactly, Megan. We've seen people as far away from Pennsylvania, so we know that, yeah, there are first responders here from not only across the state but outside of the state. So that just gives you some perspective of what we're seeing out here, and the display of honor and respect and sadness, really, that we're seeing for their fallen brother.
We are seeing some activity now there, Shannon, but also the family coming in. Are they waiting for the fire truck for Pitt's body to come with the casket in that and then follow that? Okay.
Right, so the family's coming first, and then we expect the fire engine to come through with his body. And right now we are seeing some movement. As you guys said, you can see it as well.
And it looks, and just to remind our viewers here, if you're just tuning in right now, this is for Rodney Pitts III, who died fighting a row home fire in East Baltimore. 2 firefighters actually died in that blaze. Now, what we are waiting for here is we're waiting for the fire truck that is carrying his casket, and that's coming from Dundalk. You can hear the helicopters. It's getting closer. I know state troopers were actually out there following that. So they that procession is coming from all the way from Dundalk all the way there right onto Charles Street, and that's why it's been closed off. So you imagine the highways that have been shut down as that's been moving through.
And just a difficult week as you look at those first responders being there, obviously to pay tribute, but they have another brother who lost their life this week as well. So some heavy hearts
Officer
there,
Ronaldo,
and
yeah.
yes, and can happen as you're putting your life in danger every single day to try and save others and their belongings at times, their homes, and to be there to celebrate that life is an important thing for them to do.
Yes, Shannon, I know that you have been covering this morning and watching everyone gather here. We're actually going to hear that this will be going until noon, and then once the funeral procession leaves there and goes to the cemetery, this could be taking place until 1:30. Is that correct?
I believe so, yeah. We know that from here, the funeral, the procession will then go from the cathedral here to Delaney Valley Memorial Gardens in Timonium, and that's where he will be laid to rest. So yes, it will likely go on for several hours after the funeral is over. The funeral, again, is set to start in 4 minutes. So. And we're still waiting for the arrival of the casket. So maybe starting later than we expected.
Right. I don't think time matters at this moment with everyone there.
No, for sure not.
Yeah.
Shannon, and while our show will be wrapping up here, we're going to be streaming this live on our website, foxbaltimore.com, and then we're going to be coming back on Fox 45 News midday to keep you updated both on this situation, paying tribute to the fallen firefighter, and also the shooting that happened outside Carver Vocational.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll see you Monday, and we'll be back here midday.